Hello, folks. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So, let me get this right. We're in a recession, and the recession is accompanied by high inflation. Milton Friedman used to call that inflationary recession, and we are, unfortunately, going to be afflicted by this discouraging condition for quite some time. So, the Biden Democrats have put together a new fiscal deal, which will raise taxes by $739 billion, designed to make the recession worse, and $433 billion in additional spending designed to make the inflation higher. So naturally, this dreadful bill is being called the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. George Orwell would be proud. Now, I'd call it the stagflationary Malaise Act. Oh, and by the way, I guess some Democrats believe inflation will come down because in their fantasy world, the tax hikes exceed the spending increases for a $300 billion deficit reduction. But wait a minute. What happened to the $284 billion chips plus semiconductor corporate welfare bailout bill that just passed? Well, that wipes out the phony deficit reduction, doesn't it? But hang on another second. Obamacare subsidies that are in the Schumer Manchin bill actually come in at $220 billion over 10 years, that according to the CBO. So that adds another $150 billion. So, in the blink of an eye, in the last 48 hours, all these rabid anti-inflationists in Washington have just increased federal spending by roughly $870 billion. Is that not inflationary? How on earth Joe Manchin could be signing on to these outrageous spending bills is beyond me. I don't get it. He has broken my heart. We're not going steady anymore. I'm giving him back my fraternity pin. Have to do it. One more word about the tax hike. The 15% corporate minimum tax is really a killer because it's done on the basis of what's called book profits, which means no legal credits and deductions that are used in IRS profits can be applied. The biggest piece is excluding the 100% immediate expensing of plants and equipment, which was a major part of the successful Trump corporate tax cut. Business investment, by the way, fell almost 3% in the Q2 GDP report, and business plans and structures fell 12%. So this 15% minimum tax is going to make things far worse. And remember, 70% of the corporate tax burden falls on middle-income working folks, blue-collar folks, typical American families. So this Schumer-Manchin idea will lead to even deeper drops in real wages and family income. That is how dumb this bill is. Finally, I grow weary of this semantic debate about recession. Come on. 2 straight declining quarters is good enough working definition of recession. In fact, our Peter Doocy had this exchange in the White House press room. Take a listen.
Frank Deese said in 2008, of course, economists have a technical definition, which is of a recession, which is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth.
I can tell you this.
Yesterday he said 2 negative quarters of GDP growth is not the technical definition of a recession.
It is
What
not.
changed?
It is not.
It is not, it is not. But yes, it is, it is. Today's second straight contraction in GDP shows, by the way, plunging housing, that along with collapsing business investment, along with an 8.9% inflation rate. Every piece of this report was worse than the contraction in the first quarter. And people who think the Fed's going to give up its tight money policies because of recession should really think twice about that erroneous assumption. Stock markets, are you listening? Make no mistake, the woke economists in the Biden administration don't care one whit about growth. They're only interested in income redistribution. They're waging war against all business and, of course, fossil fuels. They believe all profits are excessive and should be taxed more. All their economic policy thinking is based on radical climate activism whose disastrous consequences have already given us sky-high inflation, oil prices, gas prices, grocery prices, and the price of everything else. This is, to use Steve Forbes' phrase, modern socialism through the regulatory planning state. Nobelist Friedrich Hayek called it the road to serfdom. I think big government socialism captures it all. In 18 months, these woke policies have destroyed a successful economy. In the last 48 hours, they are giving us much more of the same. It is an absolute outrage. We need to throw this crowd out and replace them with supply-side policies of tax cuts and deregulation that will rejuvenate the economy and the American spirit. The only thing good I can say tonight is yes, the cavalry is coming.